We're going to start this meeting as we start all CHUM meetings. We're just going to ask everyone to take a moment in silent prayer for those in the city of Baltimore, for Mayor Scott, for Mr. Thompson, and for our Morgan State community. So if we please could just take a moment. Thank you. We want to get started today at this event to honor Mr. Berkeley S. Thompson. I cannot tell you how excited I am to be here. Just a little background. Mr. Thompson has been carefully curating the Black experience in the CHUM community in the city of Baltimore for well over 50 years. He has proven himself not only to be a lover of art, but one who understands the importance of art in helping to shape the direction of an individual. His commitment to the city, to CHUM, and to art cannot be matched. It is, in fact, unparalleled. Mr. Thompson, long before I even knew of Mr. Thompson, took it upon himself to start the first African-American museum in the city of Baltimore. It is in the 1700 block of Carswell Street, and we hope that you all will visit it sometime today, if not in the future. I do want to say this. Mr. Berkeley is one of the most patient and gentle men that I know. As you all may or may not know, we have children over the summer when they're out of school. And I needed something to do with the kids. So I took them down to the museum and left them with Mr. Berkeley. Mr. Berkeley not only took care of those kids, he educated them, but more importantly, the art that those kids did under the supervision of Mr. Berkeley hangs in the CHUM office today. For me, Mr. Berkeley, that was your humanity. I applaud you for that level of humanity and caring. With that being said, without further ado, I'd like to bring up friend of the community, one of the absolute best mayors in the country, and someone that I consider to be a dear friend. Ladies and gentlemen, Mayor Brandon M. Scott.
Good afternoon. Mark's going to be asking me for something before the day's over. And thank you all for being here today to celebrate the contributions of none other than Mr. Berkeley Thompson. Before I start, Mark, Mr. Berkeley says don't mess up his artwork. Leave it alone. Before I start, I want to thank and acknowledge the very special folks that helped put this together. Fabulous Councilwoman Ramos, my Office of Neighborhoods, especially Ashell Henry and Leah Lynch, of course, my good friend Mark Washington, and all of our community members and family and friends who are here today as we honor the remarkable Mr. Berkeley Thompson. It's obvious that Mr. Berkeley is a pillar here in CHUM, along with being an artist, an advocate, a curator of culture, a pioneer, a visionary, and one of the many people Mark Washington has dropped kids off and left in the care of, including myself. And Mr. Berkeley, as you know, co-founded the city's first and only Black American Museum in 1970, which showcased the artwork and artifacts from the lives of Black Americans from all over the country at a time when those spaces were few and far between for blacks. Now it's commonplace. Now we have a Smithsonian African American History Museum. But long before that, Mr. Berkeley saw fit to make sure that black culture was being cultivated and remembered and honored right here in Baltimore. Over the years, thousands and thousands of people far and wide have come to see Mr. Berkeley's collection of African artifacts, artwork, historic pieces, and to get an oral history lesson from listening to one of his wonderful stories. Mr. Berkeley knew for years that there was a need for a place for blacks to embrace the arts, and you have created spaces and opportunities for our stories to be told through artwork. And you have paved the way for other black museums to flourish, like the Great Blacks in Wax Museum, which arrived in the 80s, and now the Reginald F. Lewis Museum, which arrived in the early 2000s. And for almost 40 years, he has showcased his artwork and introduced many others to that artwork of local artists right here in Clifton Park in front of the Valve House as we all know it. Mr. Berkeley, your courage to continue to follow your passion is an example to everybody in Baltimore, especially the young Baltimoreans, and your dedication and authenticity has empowered so many others to have the bravery to take risks, challenge the status quo, grow into the best version of themselves, and see something when no one else sees it. We thank you for your contribution to arts and culture, but more importantly, to your contribution for Baltimore in preserving the rich history of the people who built this world, black people all over the country. And before I turn the mic over to you, I want to present you with a very special gift from my office. So if you come up, Mr. Berkeley, Madam Councilwoman. Yep. All right. On behalf of the citizens of Baltimore, this is a certificate of recognition. On behalf of the citizens of Baltimore, I am pleased to present this certificate to Berkeley Thompson in recognition of more than 50 years as executive director and curator of Baltimore's only black American museum right here in Northeast Baltimore. From humble beginnings in a Reservoir Hill apartment building, you have expanded the impressive collection of the current location near Clifton Park. On behalf of the people of Baltimore, I commend you for more than 50 years of highlighting African and African American art, helping our black community to embrace their culture. Signed by me, Mayor Brandon Scott, on today, October the 5th of 2023. Congratulations, sir.
Thank you very much.
Oh, they wanted to go in front. Yeah. Come on, man. What you doing? Oh. There you go. On that side. All right. The man of the hour.
I almost not know what to say. I had no idea that it was going to be on this magnitude in terms of getting some recognition for the many years that the museum has worked in Northeast Baltimore, going all the way back to Doris Johnson, when Chum was first evolving, 1968, 69. And back then, we saved the community on many levels, we feel, and trying to maintain a cultural integrity. That's why for the last 37 years, I've been right here on this corner on Saturdays and Sundays, if it's not raining. One of the things we did back in the 70s is they were gonna tear down the band shell there. They took the seats out, and Doris Johnson and myself and a few other people got downtown and told them, you know, that band shell could be an asset to the community. And then because of my work as a volunteer back in the early 70s, as a volunteer, I went down and worked with the artists in the penitentiary because everybody told me about the art in the penitentiary, even though my idea wasn't to deal with that situation. But I did, and it made the local news at that time. And Mayor Schaefer and some other people in the Maryland Historical Society contacted me and asked me would I be interested in that building across the way. It's called the pump house or the valve house that used to pump the water in the reservoir. And of course, being a young man at the time, I was so excited to get that kind of recognition and everything else. But I didn't ask the right questions. So they gave me the use of the building forever because the building's on the Federal Historical Register, built in 1887. I love the building. I love the way it looks now. But they tell me Morgan's coming, but I don't think they're going to take the building down. They're going to leave it up there. But we're very proud of what we've tried to do. We're still trying. This here is an example of our efforts. Back in 1972, we had the first annual Clifton Park Festival and Picnic, and we had almost 500 artists. One of the artists that participated is right there now, Bebe Williams. You know, we had, the idea was every summer, we would call the artists and we would line up and down St. Louis Drive and promote our wear. And it happened one year. Unfortunately, the artists didn't continue to come back every year, and we would do it every year. But I've done it every year since, going back thinking that if I could create a cultural hub using St. Louis Drive, you'd have artists on both sides of the street, and people would come on the weekends and browse and see the art and see the culture, and it would uplift the community, and it saved the band shell. The band shell gets a lot of use now, but again, we're very proud of what we've been trying to do. We haven't accomplished as much as we'd like to, and we're going to keep at it. I noticed there are a lot of people here that I've never seen over at the museum, so I hope you did get an invitation to come over to the museum and see for yourself what we've done for the community, for the black artists, and for better Northeast Baltimore. And thank you very much for coming. I appreciate it very much.
I would be remiss if we did not bring up the council person for the 14th District to honor Mr. Berkeley with her own thoughts and words. Councilperson Odette Ramos.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Didn't expect 85 degrees on an October day, but I'm glad we have it. I'm so honored to be here with you all today to celebrate and thank Mr. Thomas for everything that he's done. I have to say, don't you feel better when you see him on the corner? You know all is well, right? You know all is well because he has been there for so long that if he's not there on Saturday and Sunday, you got to wonder, right? But if he's there on Saturday and Sunday, you know all is well. And that means that he is a pillar, that what he's done has really made an impact on so many people. I'm looking forward to taking advantage of the opportunity to go into the museum. But also, I just want to say that the art that and the work that and the movement that he created then also has spread across the area. Do you know the art in the Lake Clifton School is phenomenal, right? And it came about around the same time. And now Morgan has bought the Lake Clifton building and will be demolishing it and rebuilding. They are taking most of the art out, but there's 3 mosaics that are still there that we need, and I need your help, Mr. Thompson, and everybody else to get out of there. Because right now the city's not taking it. It will be destroyed if we don't take them out. And so we're working with the Lake Clifton alumni. We're working with a lot of people to, the BMA, BOPA, to raise the money to get them out. It's super important because that is, again, the same type of thing that Mr. Thompson has been doing to make sure that people have an opportunity to see Black art, but also to experience it, be a part of it. And frankly, with Lake Clifton and with your museum, it was the only place to go at one point, right? So preserving is super important. So I'm grateful for you for doing that and starting that movement, frankly. And we're going to continue to honor you and to honor it as well. I don't have a resolution today, but I will bring it by for you. And I just want to thank you, thank your family for sharing you with us. And I'm so grateful. Thank you so much. Congratulations.
Thank you, Councilperson Ramos, for those kind words in honor of Mr. Berkeley Thompson. Lake Clifton was mentioned, my old alma mater. We weren't allowed in some of the finer museums downtown. And I can remember as a small child, my grandmother bringing us to the campus of Lake Clifton under then Principal Boyce Mosley to take a look at the artwork in there. Now, that artwork is something that is near and dear not only to me personally, but this community and city. I am grateful that Morgan recognizes the history and connection, and that art will be preserved for future generations. Now I want to bring up perhaps the person that's most closest to Mr. Berkeley. I want to bring up Angela Thompson, and I will let her speak on her connection to Mr. Berkeley. Ms. Thompson, come on up.
In 1968, Berkeley called for a meeting over at Pastor P.M. Smith's church when it was on the Alameda. My friend Bebe was there. That was the genesis of the Black American Museum. There is a family joke about when Mr. Berkeley got married the first time. He's supposed to go on a honeymoon. You'll never guess where he was. He was at the penitentiary because he made a commitment to the artists there to be there. And after he said his adieus, he went to the prison. He went to the penitentiary. He has influenced 2 generations of my family. I have children who are part of the arts. One went to the School for the Arts. They grew up in theater. The second generation, one of them is sitting there, is a magnificent artist, and I got some of her work in the car, and she is very good. So I've got 2 granddaughters who are artists. She's in middle school at Roland Park, and I have another granddaughter whose last subject is math, and Dad said, she needs to be in math. She goes to the School for the Arts in Baltimore County. She's also a magnificent artist. Mr. BT has influenced them. There was a time when he had a children's hour. My children, their parents were part of the children's hour. Mr. BT has influenced the youth in this community. You would not believe. They're entrepreneurs, they're doctors, they're managers. They all started right there on Carswell Street. He has been, we grew up, believe it or not, 3 blocks from each other. That's how far back we go. We met again as adults. But I lived in the 1500 block of Bond Street, and you all were in the 1800 block of Bond Street. My brother was a good friend of Gordy's. He's my brother cousin. So we've always been around each other all the years. And we're still around each other, and it's my honor to be a part of the museum, the Black American Museum, the oldest one in the country. It's an honor, though difficult, to work. I'm being honest. Difficult. And those who know him know what I'm talking about. Though difficult, but an honor to work with him. And there are a couple people who are board members here. Pam, the one with the pink and the camera up all day. That's one. And the other one just took a picture with the mayor. I don't see where she went. And of course, some family members are here who have always been supportive. Since 1968. That's That's over 50 years he's been in this community making a difference, making an impact on the youth who are now grandparents. And I'm so happy that he's been recognized for his many years of hard work here. Thank you.
This concludes our program for today, and I thank you for your attendance. We invite you all to stay around for photos and greetings. There's cupcakes and sparkling cider. And we also want to remind you all once again, if you have not gone to the museum right there in the 1700 block of Carswell Street, please do so. Mr. Berkeley, thank you for your service to the community and the city. As I said before, it is unparalleled. Madam Mayor, Mr. Mayor, thank you for your commitment to preserving Black history. And Madam Councilperson, thank you for coming out. Ms. Dobson, thank you for that history. It was really special. Please, cupcake, sparkling cider, head to the museum. Thank you all.